another question before we adjourned. And I hear everyone of the witnesses saying how important broadband is for small businesses to grow their businesses. And so, however, we all know that small businesses not only face the economic constraints that they're facing to develop a presence online. So how would you advise small business seeking to harness broadband to grow their business, and what role should Congress and the FCC play in promoting broadband adoption by small firms? And I will start with Ms. Duffield-Meyer, if you can.
Absolutely, Madam Chair. I think that really what's essential is education, and I know that Congress is working on that right now with digital literacy efforts aimed at small businesses. And I think particularly in minority and underrepresented communities that is something that's going to be very important in promoting the adoption of broadband. Really, it is, even when we have new members that join our team, a lot of times their eyes get big, even if they're in their early 20s, and they just say, how do I use all of these tools? How can I use them to build my business within your company? And so we have to sit down with them and just coach them through it. And as soon as they realize the potential, they're off and running. And I think it really just centers around education. And it doesn't matter your age or your background. It just takes a little bit of coaching and some effort. And there's so many tools out there to help you grow your business. You just have to Google. If you need something free, like a free open source software program because you're strapped financially, you just have to know what to look for, and you can find it.
Any other of the witnesses I want to comment?
Just a
yes,
just a quick comment. I would urge Congress to think through carefully what it's going to do. I would suggest, and I've seen too often, not just in Congress but everywhere, we don't want today's solutions to cause tomorrow's problems. I think that broadband is expanding. And I think that I would just urge that we make it, as I said earlier, that the rules of the road are clear and there's not confusion over the next few years, which I think could stifle, has the potential to stifle what is an opportunity to expand this successfully in a partnership that will work.
Also, to continuing on that exact same point, as it relays both in small businesses starting their process and in companies that have established their process, absolutely correct. We plan for the future based on what we know today. And if we build a business and the profitability of that business around expectations of access to broadband, and that isn't going to be the case in the future, it could be very, very difficult, and it could end a good entrepreneurial run.
Mr. Burford.
Yeah, I mean, to echo two key themes, you know, we've used the phrase, I think, throughout this, that broadband is like the national highway system, or broadband is like the electrical grid. And in many ways, particularly when you move outside of major metropolitan areas, it is kind of a natural monopoly. And as an economist, there's often a critical role for government to play in facilitating the creation of those situations. But there is a tremendous risk for unintended consequences around technologies that will be used on broadband that haven't even been imagined yet. And I think as government explores the right role to play, caution is important. And then I think going back to the second theme, you know, education is a tremendous part of this. For capital-constrained small businesses, part of the answer is not to focus so much on capital, it's to focus on what can you do with the capital that you have using the free tools that are out there. But there is absolutely a digital divide that is growing between people who understand how to pull together and weave together these incredibly powerful, inexpensive solutions and those people who don't. And any sort of effort in terms of improving that kind of education and how to use these tools, I think, would be critical for our economy.
Well, thank you all. This has been quite an interesting discussion, and for this committee, it's an important one if we want to provide the tools for small businesses to continue to grow. This is key. So I thank you all. I ask unanimous consent that members will have 5 days to submit a statement and supporting materials for the record. Without objection, so ordered. This hearing is now adjourned. Thank you.